guys, Generation of Vipers. We just saw your show. How was it for you? Did you enjoy it?
The venue's great. Yeah.
Yeah. It was we're not used to playing festivals like this where it's a lot of strict set changeovers and stuff like that. And playing on gear that we're not used to, but it's hard to get into it as much, when you're under that kind of pressure and stress. But it was a good show.
And also time pressure, does that matter a little bit? Because you only had 30 minutes.
Yeah, just rushing to set up and play and take down your gear.
And obviously cutting your set shorter than normal. So.
Yeah. But other than that, it was fun. Great venue, nice people.
Okay. You've been on your European tour for the last couple of weeks. You're almost finished, or still?
We have a week left and 8 shows.
Yeah, 8 shows left.
Okay. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's been great so far.
You've been touring with a different band, Severe.
Severe, yeah.
And you didn't know them, I heard, before you started.
No.
What's that like, touring with guys that you don't really know, and you don't know if you're going to have any connection at all?
Yeah.
How's it been?
We were all kind of worried about it at first. Even they were. Like, we've talked about it a lot since we've been on tour, and we've all gotten along great.
Yeah,
really fun.
Great guys, hilarious.
Yeah, we all kind of our personalities mesh very well, I think, which is a nice surprise, because you never know. When you tour with a band that you've never met before, it's like we met them the day we got here for the first show, so it's been really fun. They're great guys, really, really good band.
Yeah, and we like their band too.
Yeah, that always helps.
It's great.
So bonus.
That's a good bonus.
Like the band, yeah. So how did you get together as a band? Where have you found each other?
Well, BJ and I played in a band before, long time ago. And we've known Travis for probably, 12 or 13 years at least. And so just kind of always been friends and sort of played music together. Even before Travis started playing bass with us, which has been almost 5 years ago, like, he recorded our first 2 albums. So he's kind of always been like a member of the band anyways. So it's just kind of always been around each other, been friends.
Did you have, how did your vision of what the band should be change in the couple of years that you've been together, music-wise?
I think we just, I don't know.
Or did it not change? Is it still what you wanted it to be?
I think it's changed. We've just kind of cut a lot of the fat, from the songs, and just made it more focused and powerful.
Yeah, I think our vision of what we wanted to do is still the same, but our approach and how we write songs is a lot different now. Just in terms of, like, we're just more mature, we're older, we've been playing music longer, and so now it's, we have more tools than we did when we were like 22 to execute the ideas that we have in our head. It's just kind of, everything's become more streamlined and more just more focused, I guess.
Right, because when I heard you play, not to say that it's not ferocious or anything, but it's when you guys play the song, it really sounds measured in a way. That you're really building towards something.
Yeah.
And it's you started off really clean, and then the wall of sound comes in. But it's all, it's step 1, step 2. It's there's a path to the end of the song, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think we've kind of always done that, sort of. Like, back on the old records, it would always, like, we would never repeat parts. It would always just kind of be like this giant, long, epic thing. It would never, like, return to a riff or anything. It was just like point A to point B to point C to wherever. I think now we're kind of more doing, not like verse, chorus, verse kind of structure, but it's just more streamlined, less of the fat and unnecessary parts.
Yeah, there's not a lot of outright craziness in your songs. That a lot of bands maybe they shouldn't do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it's just maybe a matter of preference. I don't know. Like, I know we kind of all grew up listening to, like, Helmet and, Ministry and bands that are like very, like, rhythmic, that kind of, the Melvins, that kind of stuff. I don't know. I feel like that kind of comes across in the stuff that I tend to try to bring to the table. I know, like, we all listen to a lot of different. BJ's really into jazz, and Travis listens to a lot of different stuff too. I think we're all always focused on rhythm and like the percussiveness of it.
Yeah, not to mention that these guys play drums also.
Yeah.
So maybe subconsciously,
a lot to do with it too.
A lot of our music is
like I play
so rhythmic.
bass in another band, and Travis plays bass in our band, so maybe that like the rhythm thing just comes through in that too, which I never thought about.
Okay, so you're all just consciously drumming when you're playing.
Sort of,
yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Like the rhythm really does seem like the most important.
Yeah.
Like
that's why we lock in so well.
Yeah, it's like it's a heartbeat. You know?
So, what is it that's drawn you toward? Like I saw you characterized as sludge and post-hardcore, and I don't really know if that's what you want to be pigeonholed as, but it's certainly a very dark kind of rock sound. What's drawn you to that kind of music when you first started hearing it? Was it,
I don't know.
For me, I mean, I like the aggression behind it, and then it also has to have like a solid groove, like hard hitting. I don't know. That's what draws me to it.
Because it's one of the hardest things to say what you like in music, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
Is it a hard thing to be like? Do you feel like you're now at a festival where there's all kinds of music, but you're playing in a room where there's only other kinds of loud, metally rock bands?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you kind of always get stuck with the same kind of bands? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think we kind of tend to get stuck with most bands that are similar in that way. I personally don't think it's either good or bad. It just is what it is. Some people are more open-minded than others. So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would be surprised at the stuff that we like to listen to when we're not playing that and stuff. It's very across the board. And I think that's how most musicians are, honestly, is always, you don't just listen to one kind of music, you listen to everything. Because it's, that's what expands your mind and makes you a better musician, a better communicator.
When it comes to your lyrics, I saw that there's some very personal stuff in there. You've talked about it in other interviews.
Yeah.
Is that where you get most of your lyrical content, like stuff that happens to you in real life?
I would say thus far, most of this stuff, especially on our recent record, it's all very, autobiographical.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's more. It's based on just my own ideologies about just the spirituality and searching for that like core truth. Just sort of like the basic elements of like paganism and witchcraft, where it's just purified and distilled down to its core elements of who we are as people. Regardless of where you come from or what you're raised to believe, it's just sort of a lot of the lyrical content is sort of about just finding your inner voice. And I feel like we've written a lot of songs that kind of center around that.
Is the lyrical stuff only by you, or does everybody have some input in what's being said on the record?
Yeah, it's usually me. I think that's just because it's just how we've always written songs, but I would love it if anybody else brought lyrics to the table. That's how we write songs too. It's always totally equal parts. We always bring in an idea or two, and we always sort of tweak it and stretch it into something that it wasn't in the beginning.
Okay. And when the song changes, does your idea about the lyric change as well?
Yeah, sometimes. It kind of depends on the rhythm a lot. Like I always have like sort of an idea of a pattern in my head before I even write any lyrics. Usually, it's always more about like the sound of the pronunciation, delivery, more over the lyrics first and foremost.
Okay.
I feel like the lyrics usually just kind of come after that. It's sort of like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Like this is what this should be.
Okay, so that it becomes a kind of story, and it takes you to a different place.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So, what's your plan for this band? Where do you want to take it next? Do you want to be like filling arenas worldwide, or is it? Or realistically, do you just want to make more albums and seek out more ideas?
First and foremost, we want to finish writing this new record and get that recorded. It's been a while. I mean, we played 2 new songs tonight.
Yeah.
That we have finished. And just want to hammer that out and get that out there, because it's been a few years since we've released anything new other than the covers.
Oh right, I wanted to ask you about that as well. Because you have a covers EP out, songs by Devo and Nirvana.
Yeah.
Why did you pick those 2 bands, or did you pick it for the songs more than the bands that made it?
No, I guess it's maybe kind of a mix of both. I don't know. What do you think? Yeah, it's just, I mean...
Are you're Devo fans, all of you?
Especially the past 5 years, I really got heavily into them.
And I feel like we were saying this to somebody a few weeks ago that, like, you know, Nirvana was a band that, like, our age demographic was very influential at the time.
Yeah.
And, like,
it was hard not to be influenced.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like anyone that's in their early to mid 30s, you know, that grew up when they were still popular and putting out records, like, it's undeniable how influential they were to rock music. And that was Milk It was one of those tracks of In Utero that was always sort of not really obscure, but it was one of the lesser known ones that, like, we always loved that song. And I remember, like, we were driving down the interstate one day, I said to people, like, dude, we should cover this, like, it would be so much fun. Yeah. And that was a big reason why we kind of did it, was just to have fun and, like, remember why we started playing music in the first place, which is not for money or adoration or anything. It's just because we're best friends, we love each other, we love playing music together. It's just like, let's just do this for fun. And, you know, Devo was one of those bands for me that when I started playing guitar when I was like 12 or 13, like those were some of the first songs I learned to play. It was like Girl You Want, Turn Around. You know, those songs, it was like, they were simple on the surface, but at the same time, they were very difficult to learn. And the awesome thing about Devo was that they were always like pushing the envelope and doing all these things that sounded very simplistic, but were very complex if you really listen to it and focus. And like Gates of Steel is just one of our favorite Devo songs. So it'd be fun to kind of like do our take on it, make it really heavy.
And Devo are like the embodiment of fun as well.
Yeah,
you see them on stage.
Yeah. And really just, you know, being completely limitless. Like they're unlike any other band, you know.
I think it's funny the contrast between some of their lyrics are pretty dark.
Yeah, like even Gates of Steel is like, you know, if you really read the lyrics, it's like you would never think that a band like that would write a song like about that, you know.
Yeah, it's something that you kind of glance over because it's Devo, but then oh shit,
there's way more under the surface.
Yeah. So is your next album going to be influenced by Devo at all? Are you going to wear hats on your album cover? Or?
Maybe we'll start wearing anything.
We'll be auditioning keyboard, guitar players and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I sign up for that? I don't know what I'm doing, but it sounds kind of fun.